Well, good everybody. So no countdown clock and no header, even no graphics or anything coming in. It's Sunday. Just going to do a quick update because there's a few things happening, and I want to get onto it now before it all changes this afternoon. But anyway, here we go. And I just realised I haven't even got a logoed shirt on. Anyway, it's Sunday, so freezing cold still here in the Sable d'Olonne, overcast and dull, but plenty happening down on the Vendée Marina still. They had quite a bit going on there yesterday. And there's some fun stuff happening on boats. The funniest thing that happened was I got a message from Adam on Little Wren, and just chatting about some stuff. He lost his spinnaker pole, sadly. That's not the funny part. He dropped it over the side, and he needed to check getting another one organised at the exact length. And there's we haven't defined specifically, rules on the notice of race even can be simple, and you just say spinnaker pole, or you can be very specific and detail everything that you should actually do. And because we just say spinnaker pole, some entrants we've noticed have got sort of longer spinnaker poles, right? And a spinnaker pole in its own right, when you say spinnaker pole and you're talking about events like this, they're defined. It's very clearly specified as being of a length from the leading edge of the mast to the attachment of the forestay at the stem. So that's the length. And then there's some other definitions, whether it goes from beak to beak or end of the pole to end of the pole, or some classes, some one design classes can actually define it as being, J plus 10% or whatever it is, depending on what goes on. So we haven't defined it anything other than being a spinnaker pole, which means it's the J measurement. And there's a reason for that, because if you really want to get super performance, you could actually have a longer pole. And that sort of could give you some advantages if you wanted to, say, boom out the J3, the A3, the biggest asymmetric spinnaker, because that's pretty big, and you could get it right out the side with a long pole or a telescopic pole and all this sort of stuff. But we keep it pretty simple. So I advised Adam. I said, look, it's just a spinnaker pole, J measurement. That's it. And we'll get on top of that for anyone for the MGR that's got a longer pole. We might have to ask them to remove the end fitting, cut the pole, put it back on. The next thing that happens is we have two spinnaker poles as a requirement in the notice of race, and part of that is because you may lose one pole, and part of it's a hangover from the OGR and the GGR, where if you have a dismasting and lose your rig, you can at least use a spinnaker pole to make a jury rig. Now, the mast on the 580s is really quite small. So, I just realised I'm in such a hurry, I forgot to change the date on this. So the date you'll see at the top is going to be wrong. I'll change that. I'll go back when it finished. Anyway, so yeah. So the idea is you have two poles. If you drop one, you still got another one. If you lose your mast and you don't get it, you can use two poles to make a bipole rig to put a sail up or tie them together. And I suppose the 580 is so small that you could actually save the spar. If you broke a bit of rigging, you should be able to just literally cut the rigging that's causing problems and lift the whole thing back on board. So there's a very strong possibility you would salvage part, if not all, of the mast, because it's not that heavy, and carry on regardless. But nonetheless, just to be sure, we've said you've got to have two poles. So a few of the boats have had one normal spinnaker pole, diameter about sort of yay big, and then they have a little tiny one, like about that big, as their second pole. We might have to define that. I don't have a problem with that to a degree, but we're probably going to have to define that a bit better for the next edition of the MGR. But here's the funny part that Adam came up to, because that's all serious stuff. The funniest part was that he said he just deleted the app for the YB app on his system, because he was able to track all the other boats on the tracker the same as we all do on our phone. You put up the YB races and blah, 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 and there it is, bang. You don't get the windy weather and you don't get all these other features, but you get the raw position and the data and so on. It has predict wind on it, which is quite handy if you know how to use the predict wind. It being so small, it's not so easy, but even on board the boat, if they're if the entrants are able to use the internet connection, get the link to YB races, look at the positions, and download the predictor wind, that's a reasonable forecast as well. So, but anyway, he had to get rid of it because he said it was just driving him nuts. He said it kept telling him in his own mind that he was going slow because the other guys were in front, and he'd keep obviously looking at it all the time. So, oh, they're over there, and that made me realise that obviously all the other entrants are doing the same, and I think that might be part of the way they're actually doing converging courses and trying to come close to each other. Surely they're speaking of VHF radio. I might have to ask them one day if they are. I hope they are, because it's a bit of fun. But yes, Adam's given up on that. He's not watching any of the positions anymore, and he's just sailing his own race. So he'll sail as well as he can without the frustrations of looking at where everyone else is. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the tracker, because that weather we've been speaking about has all started to turn up, and that's going to be quite interesting to see how it plays out. So here we go. Hang on, I just knocked that out. And you can see now very clearly that this band, which is band of no wind, is slowly closing in from the north. So when you get the next positions, you're going to start to see Pila even slow down more than she is at the moment. She's on 3.4 knots. That was at 8 o'clock UTC this morning, a few hours ago. And you'll see her even go slower. And the same with Argo. Argo's slowing down to 3.9. They're going to be parked soon. They won't go anywhere. And so it goes, coming down, Origami 4.8, but they're all pretty similar. So Renault is doing 5.3 and so on. We'll come back to that in a minute. And everyone else is still holding position, but you'll see them as they're up the top, they're slowing down. So Popeye is also down to 3.8. So before I go into all the position data, let's just follow the weather forward. You know what's going on here. You can see this was our original target, and they're all sort of heading that way, to get down here. And I'm going to go back quite small because I want to show you how this is going to progress. So there's Antigua over here. This is the usual band of trade winds along here. It doesn't usually extend much higher than where it is now. And you can see normally boats would come down here to the Cape Verdes and then head across, pretty much in that direction. That's where it is. So there's the weather for today. Let's see, I'll kick that up one. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. So we'll push this through for 24 hours, and then you'll see it's coming down from the top. So the forecast is holding pretty much as it said it would, coming through, and there we go. There was a big patch there, but it's coming through reasonably fast now. So they're not parked for long, but here we are. That's 24 hours. 24 hours is gone, and so Argo and Pila are not going to be going very fast at all. The others pretty down here, they've had breeze pretty much all the way. I think Popeye is going to slow down quite a bit because he's just carrying on in this low area. Jasmine, she's heading down a bit, so she'll keep moving, but not fast. And I think these guys in 24 hours, they're going to be it should be about at least 80 miles. I'll just come through on this. At least 80, maybe even 100 miles in this current position, in that current course. There's 75. So they're going to be about here. They're going to hold that breeze. So whilst these guys do 100 miles, you might see Pila and so on do about 30 miles. So they're going to take a big jump on that. They'll take a big hit over 24 hours. So there's the first 24 hours. We'll get rid of that. Hit this. And we'll take it the next 24 hours and see if there's any advantage, because at about that point, you're going to see, this is by tomorrow night, you're going to see Pila and Argo start to get the breeze. And a few people have suggested, they've gone up to get the breeze first. And that might be the case, but you've got to remember now, these guys down here, they're still in this breeze and they're still moving. So I don't think that's been a valuable option at all. And then let's see how long it takes to get from there down to here for that breeze to give the guys up the top a chance to catch up a little bit more what they may have lost. So there's it's early hours of the morning. Boom, there's about 12 hours. They're going to have about 12 hours of potentially stronger winds before the other guys get it down here. But I think overall, they're going to punch through probably 50, 60, 70 mile advantage by being in this position further south and being up north. But let's wait and see what happens. So the next thing to consider is how, where's this trade wind band going to settle out, in terms of latitude, and whether the guys at the top, they're still cutting the corner, they're heading down this way. And these guys here, not a lot in it, but if you'd have to say the starting ground for that, and I'll try and explain this the best way I can, is where are they in relation to a line 90 degrees towards Antigua? If I said the real course, direct run line course to Antigua was along that way, the actual distance difference is on a line that's probably, would that be, no, that's a bit too far south. It's probably about there. That would be, yeah, that's about it. So this is the distance here that they're actually behind the game. You know what I mean? I'm hoping you understand this. So this is the direct run line course for boom. So this would be like the current finish line if that was the case. So now if I just put that up here, and we'll just say, rightio, as of right now, they're 70 miles. They're about 70, 73, 74 miles behind the leaders going towards Antigua. Let's just remember that figure. I'm going to write it down. 73 miles. Let's see what the difference is in 2 days, and that'll tell us the good, bad, or indifferent to who's picked up. So that gets rid of that. Now I'm just going to keep pushing this forward to see what's going to happen, because here's the next Azores high coming across. That's going to go up here and settle into the Azores up north. But all we want to see is how it's going to pan out on this trade wind route here. So this is the one that's generating the trade winds now, and we'll just keep it pushing forward. There's the 22nd, 23rd. It's all above them. 24th, all above them. You can see it's going to get very strong here, but there's plenty of, at that latitude now, there's still plenty up the top. So Peeler can absolutely cut the corner. Those guys at north, it's not going to worry. There's no big holes starting to appear. And this is the first bit now. So if we just, you can see this is the line of the trade winds. If this forecast maintains the, is correct. And I come up here. So that's through to the 26th. So that's a week away. This is 27, 28. So you can see plenty of trade winds all the way across. This is just the drag race now, and there's going to be plenty of breeze. So it's how people settle in. So you can see, really now for at least the next 8, 9, 10, 12 days, they're going to be going for it. And it looks like this is a seasonal thing now. So that's very consistent, very strong trade winds. They may ride that all the way through, which is going to make the ETAs quite interesting. Anyway, enough of that. Let's just get on to individual performance and progress to the finish. We'll start at the back of the fleet. Jasmine, 3.2 knots. She mentioned a situation of being challenged putting a big kite up yesterday, which was kind of cool. And fortunately, she's clipped on, which is even better. But the thing about being clipped on, for those that don't understand how this works, you can be clipped on but fall over the side, and you're still in serious trouble, because it can be very challenging to try and get back up on the boat when you're hanging over the side. So we've briefed all the entrants to try and clip on the windward side, or have very short lifeline, because most of the lifelines are 3-clip lifelines. You can have the middle clip clipped on and then the other 2 short bits. So that's what we suggest people do when they go forward, because you cannot afford to fall over the side, even if you are clipped on. Otherwise, you might be in serious trouble. So all is good. She's done 94 miles in the last 24 hours, which is fine. That's quite respectable. Popeye, 86 miles in the last 24 hours, and currently doing 3.8 knots. We're not on the current weather. We'll push that back up there. Now we've got the current weather. You can see it's a bit quieter. Coming across to Jacob, 3.6 knots, 92-mile day. So slowing down, slowing down for sure, because of the breeze is lightening up all the way. Immortal Gain, 3.9 knots. There's a great Q&A that Dan, the holiday man, did on the post below. And John, 4.5 knots. I need to kick this up so I can see his 24-hour run. 113 miles. He's been moving pretty good. He was actually up 118 or something before. And biggest monkey, 128-mile day. He did 136 or something yesterday, or just recently. So he's been pushing it along. The time to beat, and this could actually happen now, starting in the next couple of days. They're going to be getting these strong trade winds. 153-mile day is the biggest we've seen, and that was Michael in the 21 Transat that I sailed in. He got a big hoot there, so 153. Let's see who beats it. I reckon someone will. Dan the man is doing okay on little B, 5 knots, 115-mile day. He was pushing it up heaps, and he's now in pole position. But the others are so close, it's ridiculous. These three are going to be, it's going to be trading places, I reckon. Renaud, 55.3 knots. He's had a big day, but it looks like he slowed a bit there now to 112 miles in the last 24 hours. And Origami, who's already a has-been, he was leading so long, but we just, put him on the side now. It doesn't matter. Only doing 93. Poor Kerry. Never mind. He'll learn how to sail one day. That was a joke, by the way. Anyway, Argo, 3.9 knots, trying to dip south as quick as he can to stay in a little bit of the breeze, but it might be a bit late. 3.9, 80-mile day. And Peter Punk, 3.4, 60-mile day. You're going to see it. I reckon she'll probably do probably 35 miles in the next 24 hours. But let's wait and see. Maybe 40. Who knows? Just guessing. So all very good. Let's have a look at the leaderboard, just for make sure it's all reading right. Yep, the 24-hour runs look pretty good. So little B is up there, biggest monkey, then Capuchinet with Renaud. Origami slipped back to fourth. Jeepers, he'll be beside himself. And won't be able to sleep with his little yoga mat. John's doing okay, number 5. Immortal Gain, 6. Little Ren's slipped right back. He was right up there for a while, but as I say, he's doing his own race now, and that's the best way to do it, because you really are sailing against yourself. You can't really do much, and sometimes you can get distracted and get what we call the red haze over your eyes. You try too hard and then you make a mistake, and when you make mistakes, that's when everyone else in the fleet gains ground. That's the easiest way to get ahead. Do nothing, carry on, sail well, and let everyone else make mistakes. So that's cool. Then Argo and Peter Punk, number 2, and Popeye. So all looking good. Okay, I think I'll just pop back here and see if there's any comments. It's a Sunday. And here we go. What do we got? Oh, jeepers. Only one comment. Am I seeing that right? Jeepers. That's interesting. But it is Sunday, and it's Sunday lunchtime here. Big advantage of this Class 5/8 is the suspense factor. They stay close enough to each other to keep having chances. It's great. That's exactly right. That's what you get with a one design boat, and it is very hard to make up the difference in that performance. You have to make a huge effort to get 10% gain, sort of thing, and the best way is to let people make mistakes or wait for others to make mistakes, and then you bunch ahead. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow, and there's another boat tour up if you haven't seen it. We put it up on Facebook, and it should be on YouTube as well. So all very good. Have a great last day of the weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Touch wood. See you later. Oh, now I've got hang on a sec. I've got an out clause here. I can do the proper out anyway. See ya.
Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.